If you're thinking about staying at this hotel in Tenerife, watch this video first. Hey guys, I'm Sarah, and this is the first episode of my new series, I Stayed Here So You Don't Have to Guess, where I share honest reviews off of real stays. Why am I here? Why am I sharing my story? Why am I starting this series? Well, those of you who have been following me, you know I travel a lot. I stay in hotels a lot. I'm a professional traveler. And my recent experience left me with so much confusion. It was chaotic and it was absolutely stressful, my recent trip to Tenerife, that I wanted to share it. And also, this inspired me to start this series where people have somewhere else to go, to where you're not depending on Google reviews. Because where I stayed, the Google reviews were amazing, but the hotel did not reflect that. And this is why we're here today. For the Christmas holidays, I decided to take a trip to Tenerife, Spain. One of my decisions for doing that was, one, the weather. Right now, I'm currently in Poland, living and working, and it's freezing. So I wanted to go somewhere beautiful and warm. And I've been to Spain before, and this just felt like it would be a great place to go. And the reviews were great, right? When I checked into the Barceló Santiago, I was a little disappointed just how the outside looked. It did not reflect the outside of the building. The outside of the building did not reflect the photos of the hotel. I guess they have been airbrushed or whatever, you know. But the exterior looked dated, right? And when you walk in, still looks dated, but it wasn't bad. So where I was feeling like my heart dropped a little bit, it didn't completely drop. I'm like, you know, by the time I get in my room, I check in, it'll get better. I check in and they're like, they had me on the first floor. And I was like, well, do you have any other floors? Because anybody knows the first floor is always more rowdy and has more traffic. And they were like, no, not that weekend. Wasn't a big deal. I get to my room, and upon entering my room, the room had a smell. And it smelled like, the best way to describe it was as if now, like it had been flooded. So you know how that old wet wood smells? That's what the room was giving. And I initially, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's the island because the place is a little dated. So I'm thinking this is maybe how all the rooms smell, right? So first issue, well, the first issue was the smell, right? Second issue, I'm getting in, I'm trying to connect my phone to the Wi-Fi. My phone nor my laptop, they're connecting to the Wi-Fi. I call customer service, I call reception, and the lady was like, just connect. And I'm like, it will not connect, you know? So that was a whole back and forth. And she was like, I'll send someone. No one ever came. Second issue, I'm sitting there, and I had my phone. I was just playing with my phone at that time. Because I had what is it? I can't think. eSIM. I had the eSIM for Spain for my phone. So I'm just watching things on my phone, right? Waiting on it to connect and trying to restart my laptop and all that. None of that happened. Eventually, I ended up having to go to the front desk. But honestly, I was tired. I had traveled, like my flight from Germany. I drove to Germany the night before to Berlin. Stayed the night in the hotel. Had to be up like 4 o'clock in the morning to catch the flight there. And that was a 5.5 hour flight. So by the time I got there and checked in, I just wanted to rest. Was irritated about the Wi-Fi thing. The smell in the room was kind of getting to me. But I'm like, you know, I don't want to be negative, you know. And the lady actually on the phone, I don't know if I said this earlier, she said she would send somebody, but I could tell there was such a language barrier. She wasn't understanding what I was saying. And I just didn't feel like moving. So I'm laying there, laying on the bed, I'm on my phone, watching whatever I was watching or scrolling. I was probably on TikTok. And I get up to go use the bathroom and I see a roach. I was like, okay, I'm irritated because this was not a cheap room. This stay was not cheap at all. And I'm still trying to not be disappointed over this stay. I killed the roach. I go use the bathroom. I lay back down. I don't know what I got up for again. And this time I see another roach. I killed that roach. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I got to go to the front desk because one, no one ever came for the Wi-Fi. And now I'm seeing roaches, which is explaining that bad smell. And when you look in the bathroom, that cabinet was warped. Like it looked like it had water damage, right? But at this point, I didn't see any roaches in the bathroom. These two roaches had came, like I just saw them near the bed, right? So I'm trying not to be irate. I go to the front desk and they were very helpful. And I spoke to a young lady and she was like, we're going to send maintenance and we're going to send housekeeping to your room. Oh, and at this point, the toilet, after using the toilet, it wouldn't stop running. So all these factors within the first maybe 2 hours of being there. I haven't been there long with all of these issues, right? And she was like, I'm going to send maintenance and send housekeeping to the room. I'm like, okay, fine. And I'm not trying to be, because I know I'm in a space where I'm like literally the only American and really at the time, the only Black, something else I didn't know, but it is what it is. When she said that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to walk around the hotel, go enjoy myself. The hotel's still not giving what it's supposed to give. And when you look outside the rooms, the external of the rooms, I don't even know how to explain it because it's like when you come into the hotel, you walk into the lobby, but when you go to the rooms, they're external. So technically the rooms are outside. And all of that looked old and horrible. And I'm like, for my price point for that whole weekend was like $2,300. And I just shouldn't have had any of this. And I'm trying not to be irate. I want to work with people. So I go to dinner. I see actually a Black couple, which is a mother and daughter. I don't speak, but I'm excited to see them because there's no other Black people. And we end up connecting the next day, which was actually a blessing. So when I'm coming back down after dinner, I see the lady from guest services and she was like, hey, maintenance fixed your toilet. The Wi-Fi is fixed now. And housekeeping said they didn't see any roaches. Okay. So I go to my room. Now let me backtrack. The whole time I was in my room, it was daytime, right? The lights were on. When I left the room, I left the lights on and just out of laziness, I think, right? When I came back to my room after she said that housekeeping didn't see any roaches, and now it's nighttime, and then when maintenance or housekeeping left the room, they turned the lights off, which is understandable. When I come in the room and I turn on the lights, the bathroom is pretty much right there. Once I turn on the lights, I see nothing but roaches in the bathroom. Nothing but roaches in the bathroom. And I'm completely freaked out.